Happy Friday, everyone, and you know what that means. It's time for Fun Fact Friday. Today we're going to talk about something else that is in the news and I feel is very important, especially for farmers, pet owners in general, pretty much anybody that has any interest in animals. So we're going to talk about some guidelines for the bird flu. First and foremost, and I advocate for this anyway, keep your cats indoors. Cats are seemingly, unfortunately, disproportionately being affected by bird flu as opposed to dogs. Next is no shoes. No shoes in the house. My husband and I have figured out dedicated little flip-flops and slippers that get to stay in the house. Everything else stays either on the porch or in the garage away from where any of our animals have contact with them. It's just kind of a good practice because of the fact that H5N1 bird flu, it's spread mostly by wild birds. Wild birds are everywhere, which also means their poop is everywhere. So every time you're walking around outside, you might be winding up with some of those little germs on your shoes. My next one, this one's going to be hard for some people, I'm sure, but if you've been feeding raw food, please, 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 I am begging of you, consider something not raw. And unfortunately, that goes for freeze-dried raw as well, which that one's difficult for us because Mr. Magic, my little old fart, he's picky about his food, and usually freeze-dried chicken bits are all it takes to get him excited enough to actually eat his food. So we're going to have to figure something else out. Forgot to mention that also goes for eggs, for both your pets and for you. So if you're going to consume eggs, they need to be cooked all the way through, which means also, unfortunately, sunny side up, over easy, not going to cut it. Them eggs need to be scrambled. That goes for dairy too. No raw dairy, which I shouldn't have to explain in the first place. Please don't do raw dairy, regardless of bird flu. I beg you. And my last tip is if you are out for a walk with your dog and you come upon any wildlife that is maybe not doing so hot, resist the urge to jump in and try and help. If you're anything like me, that's going to sting a lot. But the stakes are too high for this right now. It's far safer for you and your dog if you take note of the location of the animal, avoid the animal for both you and your dog, and when you get to a place where you have cell service or where you're able to call your local Fish and Wildlife office. They will be able to track down the animal and check to see if it has something that is potentially not so great for us.